On a warm summer night in August 1994, the city of Raleigh, North Carolina, would become the setting of a brutal murder that remains unsolved to this day. The victim was Beth Ellen Vinson, a vivacious 17-year-old dancer and beauty queen whose dreams of making it to New York City would be forever silenced. Beth Ellen had recently moved to Raleigh from her small hometown, carrying with her the determination of youth and the promise of a bright future. A talented dancer with multiple awards to her name, she shared an apartment with her boyfriend, Rick Heath, working to save money for her eventual move to the Big Apple. But the path she chose to fund those dreams would ultimately lead to tragedy. In July 1994, Beth Ellen began working for an escort service, a decision that would put her in harm's way just 1 month later. In the early morning hours of August 16, 1994, Beth Ellen received what seemed like a routine call from her escort service. At 2:30 a.m., she said goodbye to Rick Heath and left their apartment. It would be the last time anyone would see her alive. 3 hours later, at 5:30 a.m., an employee arriving at a used car lot discovered Beth Ellen's white 1990 Mazda 626 oddly parked, blocking the entrance. The scene immediately raised red flags. The car's windows were rolled down, the radio was still playing, and one of Beth Ellen's shoes lay abandoned on the ground by the driver's side door. As police began their investigation, Rick Heath arrived at the scene, explaining he had been searching for Beth Ellen all night. But it would take another week before the full horror of what happened would come to light. On August 23rd, following complaints about a strange odor, a local businessman made a grim discovery behind his workplace: Beth Ellen's body, concealed beneath flattened cardboard in a small ditch. She had been stabbed multiple times. What followed was a complex investigation that would yield more questions than answers. In October 1994, a local newspaper received an anonymous letter suggesting Beth Ellen had become entangled with a sadomasochistic group and had attempted to blackmail its members. The letter claimed she had been earning between $300 to $500 per job without providing sexual services, but had grown weary of the physical pain involved in these encounters. The investigation took another turn in May 1996, when police released critical information about items missing from Beth Ellen's possession. 3 distinctive rings had vanished: a sterling silver Gorham brand Chantilly pattern spoon ring, a 14-karat gold ring featuring 2 amethyst stones flanking a central garnet, and a faux silver mood ring, all size 6. Also missing was her unique burgundy, burnt orange, and brown cloth purse, decorated with a woven cowboy figure. Investigators believe these items might have been given away or sold after Beth Ellen's murder, potentially providing crucial leads to her killer. The case gained national attention when the FBI featured it in their October 2006 law enforcement bulletin, hoping to generate new leads. A particularly disturbing aspect of the case was the anonymous letter writer's claims about Beth Ellen's involvement with the alleged sadomasochistic group. While investigators never publicly confirmed these allegations, they added another layer of complexity to an already mysterious case. The investigation revealed a troubling timeline. Beth Ellen had only been working as an escort for approximately 1 month before her murder. She had moved to Raleigh with dreams of saving enough money to pursue a dance career in New York City, but instead found herself navigating a dangerous world that may have led to her death. Law enforcement faced numerous challenges in solving the case. The crime scene offered limited physical evidence, and the week-long delay in discovering Beth Ellen's body complicated forensic analysis. The late-night timing of her final appointment and the nature of her work made it difficult to identify potential witnesses or suspects. initial rewards of $6,000 were offered by the North Carolina Governor's Office and Raleigh Crime Stoppers. By September 8, 1994, the reward had doubled to $12,000. Yet despite these incentives, the case remained cold. Over the decades that followed, Beth Ellen's case would haunt both investigators and her family. Her mother, who passed away in 2017, would never see justice for her daughter. The passage of time has only deepened the mystery surrounding the final hours of Beth Ellen's life. The brutality of the crime, multiple stab wounds, suggested a personal connection or intense emotion behind the attack. Yet the carefully concealed body, hidden beneath cardboard in an industrial area, indicated premeditation and familiarity with the area. Questions continue to perplex investigators. Was the anonymous letter writer's account of a sadomasochistic ring genuine, or a deliberate attempt to mislead the investigation? Why was Beth Ellen's car left in such a conspicuous location while her body was hidden with apparent care? And perhaps most importantly, what happened during those crucial hours between 2:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. on August 16, 1994? Today, nearly 3 decades later, Beth Ellen's case remains one of Raleigh's most notorious unsolved murders. Her story serves as a stark reminder of the dangers young people can face when pursuing their dreams in unfamiliar territory. The vibrant dancer and beauty queen who left her small town with big city aspirations never got the chance to realize her potential. The Raleigh Police Department's Major Crimes Unit continues to investigate Beth Ellen's murder. The $12,000 reward remains available for information leading to an arrest and conviction of her killer or killers. Anonymous tips can also be submitted through the FBI's online tip form. Beth Ellen Vinson's murder remains unsolved. In the early hours of March 23, 1993, screams echoed through the halls of a North Indianapolis apartment complex. "Get off me! Get off me!" were the last words neighbors would hear from 19-year-old Carmen Hope Van Huss. Those cries for help would go unreported to police, replaced instead by a simple noise complaint to the building's management office. It would be the beginning of a 3-decade search for justice. Carmen Van Huss was a promising art student at IUPUI, working as a waitress at a local Pizza Hut while pursuing her passion for drawing. Despite dropping out of Lawrence Central High School, she had earned her GED and was building a future for herself. Her portfolio, filled with intricate drawings of bodies and bold portraits of stylish women, showed remarkable talent and creativity. The events leading to Carmen's death began on the evening of March 22, 1993. After visiting her grandmother in the hospital with her father and 15-year-old brother Jimmy, Carmen declined her father's plea to spend the night at their home. She needed to wash her uniforms for her upcoming work shift. Around 11 p.m., neighbors reported hearing Carmen return to her apartment with an unidentified male. The pair were laughing and talking as they climbed the building's stairs. Between 1 and 1:30 a.m., the pleasant atmosphere turned violent. After Carmen's desperate screams, neighbors heard footsteps leaving the apartment. The following afternoon, when Carmen failed to show up for 2 consecutive shifts at Pizza Hut, her father received a call from concerned co-workers. Upon arriving at her apartment, he found an unlocked door with a noise complaint notice attached. Inside, he discovered a scene that would haunt him forever. His daughter's partially clothed body, victim of a brutal sexual assault and multiple stab wounds. Investigators found evidence suggesting Carmen knew her killer. Remnants of a fast food meal and beer bottles indicated a social gathering rather than a forced entry. Early DNA testing proved frustrating, when the crime lab mistakenly tested Carmen's own DNA instead of potential suspect samples. The case saw renewed hope in 2015 when Detective Sergeant William Carter initiated a GoFundMe campaign to fund new DNA testing. Despite raising more than $200 in just over a day, bureaucratic complications led to the funds being returned to donors. However, Carter's dedication to the case would eventually contribute to a breakthrough. In 2023, after 3 decades of dead ends, advanced DNA analysis by Parabon led investigators to a potential suspect living near Carmen's former apartment. In August 2024, authorities arrested 52-year-old Dana Jermaine Shepherd, charging him with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of rape with deadly force. The arrest marked a pivotal moment in one of Indianapolis's most persistent cold cases. For Carmen's family, particularly her brother Jimmy, who still treasures her art portfolio, the development offers the possibility of closure after 31 years of waiting. On January 19, 2001, in Athens, Georgia, a brutal crime would forever change the landscape of cold case investigations in the state. 23-year-old Tara Louise Baker, a promising law student at the University of Georgia, was spending her evening, like many before it, studying at the UGA Law Library. What made this night different was that it would be her last. The following day, her 24th birthday, firefighters would make a grim discovery that would launch a 2-decade-long search for justice. Tara Baker wasn't just another student. A 1995 graduate of Lovejoy High School, she had already achieved academic excellence, graduating cum laude from Georgia College in Milledgeville in 1998 with 2 bachelor's degrees. She was described as a Southern belle with an old soul, someone who consistently championed the underdog and had a unique ability to make others feel special. The events of January 19th began routinely enough. Tara was studying with one of her closest friends at the law library until 7:30 p.m. At 9:46 p.m., she made what would become her final phone call, reaching out to that same friend to ensure they had arrived home safely. During this conversation, Tara mentioned her plans to leave the library around 10 p.m., a mere 12-minute drive from her residence. The next morning, local firefighters responded to a house fire. What they discovered was far more sinister than a routine blaze. Tara's white car was parked outside, and inside they found her body. The evidence quickly pointed to murder. Tara had been beaten, stabbed, and strangled. Investigators determined the fire was intentionally set, likely in an attempt to destroy evidence. There were also indicators of possible sexual assault. For years, the case remained shrouded in mystery. The family wasn't even provided with the autopsy results until a decade later, when the Classic City Crime podcast released 24 episodes about Tara's case, generating renewed public interest. The investigation would take a dramatic turn in May 2024, when authorities arrested Edric Lamont Faust in connection with Tara's murder, 23 years after the crime. This breakthrough came following the passage of the Coleman-Baker Act in 2023, which provided $5.4 million to aid in solving cold case homicides through a dedicated unit within the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The arrest of Faust represents the first major breakthrough in a case that has haunted Athens for over 2 decades. While the wheels of justice have finally begun to turn, the impact of Tara's death continues to resonate through Georgia's legal system, leading to significant changes in how cold cases are handled in the state. Tara Louise Baker's legacy now extends beyond her tragic death, helping to ensure that other families might find the answers they seek in their own pursuit of justice.